All right, and here we go for the second video of this section. Um, so I discussed some of the things that I'm doing with the new generals, and right now I'm sitting good. Like as long as I qualify for All Stars majors, I don't see any problem with being able to clear prelims. I've worked on my defense. My debuffs are better than they've ever been. My attack, everything across the board defensively is better than it's been. And I've placed some new Senate generals, so it's sitting pretty good. And All Stars in the qualifying, the whole works. I feel like in qualifying, like it's more individual, right? Because you're going to want to place and you want to have that cushion, so that way if you have a bad fourth round for whatever reason, you got work or whatever it may be, you can still make it. Now, with that being said, it still should be a team thing. You want to get as many of your teammates qualified as possible. And I've always encouraged that, and I've always done that, and I've always supported everyone else. And you know what? At times, maybe I didn't make it, but I never had a foul attitude about it. I made the choices that I made, and I was willing to live with that, whether I decided to move to a different alliance or whatever. I've never complained about it. I always moved forward. And, whatever it was, which not making majors last time really bit me because simply in that league below it, when they realized that they were not going to be positive against me in a rally, they just left me alone. And then I was stuck to attack, which that's not my strong suit, and it didn't play out well for me. Now, moving forward, there's always going to be big personalities when you have big keeps and you've got multiple of them. What I would consider a big keep, I'd say we probably have close to about 10 of them that are big, solid. And many of them I've advised and helped and taught the game. But it always needs to be a team concept, whether it's SVS, battlefields, any of that stuff. It's always going to remain a team concept, and that should be the goal. Now, with big personalities, you aren't always going to agree. And with that being said, and some people may not be 100% pleased with like discussing situations, but also I've been dealing with some things for several years, and I really feel like there's a misconception between confidence and ego. Now, with that being said, ego is when you make choices, and in this game, to reference it, you make choices that are not knowledgeable, that there's no evidence backing that what you're doing is going to be good, and you choose to do it anyway. That's ego. Confidence is knowing what your keep's capable of, knowing your enemy, doing your pre-SVS research, having a really good idea at what you're going to be facing, and then you go out and you do the correct preparations to go out, and as a defensive keep, knowing that at a bare minimum, I'm going to be equal if they send a big rally. I may be massively positive. And in doing this and playing this way, I have won SVS for us on many occasions. And people can say, oh, well, that's ego. And I'm like, no, that's fact. I knew I would be all right in doing it. I went out and did it. I was way positive. That's the difference. Confidence is knowing what you're capable of, knowing the situation, understanding the enemy. You go out, you play to the best of your ability, you come out positive, or maybe slightly negative because there was a SVS where I was slightly negative, and I think people get so used to you being so positive, like even a small negative, which 300 million might seem like a lot to others, but when you've scored 40 billion points, 300 million negative isn't that much. So, with that being said, and I think people do get a misconception about me that I'm just a big ego player and I'm all about myself, and that's absolutely not true. Not even close. So, ego is a player that's going to go out and do things in the game, and they don't know the outcome. The outcome ends up being bad, yet they continue to keep doing it and doing it and doing it all week long, and they're 6, 8, 11 billion points negative. And I've seen people do that. Playing in buildings against T16s where you're just not going to be able to come out ahead on that. Or if you do, you're minimally ahead, and then it's going to get taken back from you. And I'm not calling anyone out. I'm just pointing out that I feel like I get a bad rep and a bad rap for how I play. And some people might actually truly believe it to be that. But at the end of the day, that's not it, because no one else is talking to me about generals from the enemy. I go out and I go through their list. I look and see who's their best generals. Do they have a lot of good siege generals? Because if they've only got 3 or 4, I can go over there and I know that there might be good buffs that I'm probably going to cut in half or close to in half. And so let's see. In this one, I've played Aura a lot. Not 100% sure on the point exchange, but I do feel like I'm probably positive. And, in this, so we look. Gunther, so there's 112.2. Luzon, Suchet. Another Gunther at 11.2. So it's close to about the value of where mine's at. And then another 11.1 Palace. So in looking at this, we see that REB is going to have 3 solid siege generals. Let's see if there's a 4th over 10 mil. There is a 4th. And he may be in REB, he may not. But, if I saw 6 of them over 11 mil power, then I'd be like, yeah, this is a team to not mess with. But there really are not heaps and heaps of elite siege generals. So I know I can take a siege rally because I've played them before. And I've taken a siege rally from them. But nobody does this, right? Like, nobody does this and goes in and does pre-discovery of the enemy before they play. They just go out and they're like, well, maybe it'll be good, maybe it'll be bad. It'll probably be good because I'm usually positive. But there's nothing backing that. There's no evidence backing that. And that's my point, is knowledge of what you're facing and what types of rallies you can expect to see, and where you are defensively on your buffs and your debuffs. So, I hope this can shed some light, and maybe we move away from this discussion of it's ego and you only care about yourself. Because if that was true, I wouldn't make videos. If that was true, I wouldn't have posted heaps of videos in Alliance Discord and my personal Discord to help everybody out. Because if it was all ego, why would I want anyone to know any of what I know? Why would I give my formula for the best possible debuff against Archer and Siege in multiple videos? Why would I tell everyone that be hard to kill, focus your HP, focus your defense? Why would I tell people minimize your high tiers so that you're always going to be positive? So there's no basis to this reputation whatsoever. And also my point, and a way for people to learn, is do this stuff. Know your enemy. Look at their keep size. Look at the generals that they have. Look at defense generals, look at, specifically, if you're a bigger keep, look at Siege and look at Archer, because the first two things that they're going to send to you is Siege and Archer. And if you know your debuff is at a high level, and you know that your HP is at a high level, and you know how to manipulate the game to be positive, then you're sitting in a good spot. And you can take a rally, and you can play defensively. And if a correct target shows up, you already have looked at the wall general. You know what they have, you know what they're strong in, you know what they're weak in. Or you can have a list of 4 or 5 players that you'll go after. And then, as they drop bubble, if you're by yourself, no one else is on, do a test attack. And then you're going to know their buffs or debuffs. And you're like, okay, well, this will probably work. This will probably work. This will not work. But at the end of the day, I've always played for the team. I've always tried to help other people progress and reach their goals. And I've always taught what I know to everyone else with no strings attached. In my server and in my alliance anyway. So, this, and what I've chosen to do with it, of course, is, I've been upset a little bit recently about the situation, and so I made a choice, and I've decided that ultimately I'm going to maintain a bubble after the next All-Stars. I'm going to keep buying the auto join pack. I'm going to continue to gather resources, and then ultimately what I'm going to do is just pink gem. And I'm not really going to do any packs. I'm just going to sit back and stockpile the pink gems, and then I'll make a big move. And right now, defensively, I'm sitting where I think I can accomplish these things. I don't need to go into SVS unless I'm asked to. And then that'll be at my discretion, because, like I say, I am taking a big step away from the game for a while, because these things I'm discussing have kind of been going on for a while, and I've tried multiple things to make things better, and everything has been blown back in my face. So I've come to the conclusion that I feel the only option that I have to play a normal game is to step away for an extended amount of time. And I really don't know what's going to happen in that extended amount of time. Because you never know. Like, if you're not doing Battlefield, you're not doing SVS, you're a strong keep, you're a good player, it does hurt the server and the alliance that you're in, because you're not there to help. You're not there to join rallies. You're not there to do port swaps and things like that can get you a lead. So I do understand the point that it's going to hurt some people ultimately, but at the same time, if it's going to make a less toxic game environment, then I'm willing to do it and cut down my growth and development in my account. If that's what's needed to happen to make a more reasonable environment for the server, then that's what I'm going to do. But this video, I did not want to be all about me. There is a lot of meat on the bone here. And I do consider everyone in the game my friend. Like, if you've met with me in All-Stars, like, at times I can get frustrated, but there's a lot of good information sharing there. A lot of players add to my Discord or add me as a friend and learn from me. and I learn from them. And it is what it is. Some people, you know, I guess some people have this mentality about me, which is absolutely fine. If that's what you think, that's what you think. But you'd be incorrect, and you would understand the situation if over the last 3 years, 4 years, as I've gotten to be a better and bigger player, we would have communicated and discussed some of these things, then people probably would understand. But a lot of people don't want to do that. A lot of people want to, I'm going to go with what I think, and that's what it is, and there's no other way it can be anything except what I think. And that's just illogical, especially in a game like this. Like, if you think there's only one way to build a keep, you're absolutely wrong. I'll build 2 billion horses, and then I'm going to be good. I'm going to be really hard to zero. True and not true, because I've seen a player with 2 billion horses lose 100 or like 1.5 billion of them with one archer rally. And if you had all your horses before that happened, then you're doing something wrong. So surround yourself with knowledgeable players. Learn the game individually for yourself. And then you learn to manipulate the game. And you really get to where you're understanding the game. And you're reading reports. You're understanding your buffs, your HP, your defense, attack. You're understanding your debuffs. You're understanding, okay, what do I need to debuff more? Where do I need to build more troops to slow down and eat up these rallies? And that's what it comes down to, and that's what I've been telling a lot of players is you need to learn the game on an individual basis. Do not learn the game from someone 10 times bigger than you when that info is probably not going to be even relevant to you, because you're looking at different rallies, you're dealing with different buffs, you're dealing with different debuffs, you're dealing with so many things that are so different that lots of times the information given to you is really not going to be pertinent. And it may help you a little, but it won't be the drastic change that you're looking for as far as the improvement in your game. So that's my point. And my other point is, don't be ugly to your teammates. If there's something going on that's not being appreciated by a group of people, don't have side conversations behind their back. Don't talk trash on them if you haven't talked to them personally. Because then you get situations that are out of hand, and then you get a strong player on a strong team that doesn't want to play the game anymore. So, that would be my advice. If there's something going on, talk to your players, and you can have a rational conversation. But if your goal as a team is to get stronger and to get better, you guys really need to talk to each other, because when you don't, that's when problems arise, and that's when things will escalate and get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, to the point where you've got a preconceived notion about someone, and no matter what is done, no matter what is said, you're not willing to change your mind. It just is what it is, and this person is what I think he is because I say so. That's not a team concept. That's an individual concept. And it just shows that you're not concerned about the team. And you're really not concerned about that player. You don't want to help that player. You just, I don't know, maybe want him out of the way. I really don't know what to say, because I don't know why you would not want all your players to get stronger so you can win. But it is what it is. And that's how All Stars is great, but when it's over, it's over. You're building a dragon. you know. You maybe make some new friends, you maybe make some new enemies. It all depends on the individual. But my whole point in this is communicate. Be open to new ideas. Be willing, and it's okay if you don't know everything, and it's okay if someone has a thought or a better idea than you. Like, people think that I'm like, oh, it's my way or the highway, and it's not like that at all, because I'm like, you know how many players I've taken ideas from and plugged it into my account? Probably at least 40 or 50. Big players with their videos, Genghis, Red Evony, Viper, King Sing, like heaps and heaps of videos I've watched to learn the game and get better. Players in my own alliance, I took a lot from YB. I took a lot from, Big Mike / Samson, who's taking a little moderate break right now. Ewok Larry, Psycho, Red Rover, and looking at some of his reports. Kit Kat, Freddie, Prince. I mean, the list goes on and on. I've learned a lot from a lot of players, and I've plugged it into my own account and looking at reports and getting ideas and being like, oh, okay, well, this didn't work, but this did work, and this made their defense better. This made their attack better. I'll switch to this March preset because this did better. It killed more troops. The Siege, the 13s killed a lot, but the T12s killed a lot too. So let me plug in a few more T12s, maybe cut back on the 13s a little bit, and then I'm going to test it and see. So communication's a good thing, and don't let a molehill grow into a mountain, because at the end of the day, it doesn't help anyone. It only hurts and weakens the team. So with that being said, always be willing to communicate, always be willing to accept new ideas and at least consider them. Always be willing to evolve and move forward. And it's okay to talk to players, and it's okay to figure out and understand where they're coming from, and then explain where you're coming from and work things out. It's only going to make your team better. But if you go the other way, and we've all seen it because we've all got that one rogue player in our server that really is just looking for something to complain about. Because we've got a few in ours, and there's some real doozies. And sometimes we don't even understand what they're saying. We just know that they're angry and they don't like us. And you've seen me many times in World Chat, and my response will be, so what do you want? Like, what's the issue, and what could be done to make it better? And that's the whole goal, and that's the whole point of making a strong team. We have an issue. We can't survive RSP rallies. We can't survive VIG rallies, and none of us can. So as soon as someone figures out a formula to maybe possibly survive another more rally from them, why don't we discuss it? It makes sense, right? Let's discuss it. Let's learn together. Let's move forward. Also, side note, no one's going to figure out how to survive RSP or VIG rallies because they will smash you. So anyway, this is my one and only kind of venting video and just some clarification. And I do use ego in my game, but it's usually in server chat, and it's usually to stir the pot with you guys that are trying to kill us. And it's designed to make you engage your ego and think, oh, I've got a massive attack, so I'm going to hit him. So there is a place for everything in the game. And no one really should have any reason to be upset, embarrassed, or anything about this video and things being discussed, because this is a way of explaining and teaching other people and other servers that may be dealing with the same kind of thing, to go, oh, you know what? This player, la da da, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this. But you know what? I'm going to talk to him. I'm not going to come at him sideways. I'm going to talk to him, and I'm going to see what's going on. I'm going to explain what me and my group that have been kind of discussing it, where we're coming from, find out where he's coming from, and see about a solution and or what's really going on. Where are we really at? What goals does he want to accomplish? So hopefully this video opens up communication airways and people are able to run a more effective game, a more effective account, alliance, and ultimately server. So I hope people can see my point in this video and what I'm trying to accomplish, and bring people that are stuck in the same server, playing the same game together, some unity, some teamwork, some fair play. Anyway, I hope that was accomplished. I hope it is not perceived in a negative view, because that was not my goal. My goal was not to be salty. My goal was not to throw sand or anything in anyone's face. The whole point of this is, if there's an issue, you need to discuss it, because in many cases, it's a misunderstanding and you don't know where someone's coming from. And the point is, we communicate, reach an understanding, and move forward.